Change is something we find difficult to embrace. Broken relationships, rejections, and lost opportunities consume us and make us wonder what could have been. But what does this truly give you? Consumed by unachieved accomplishments, we get lost in negative thoughts that always seem to be looming no matter how hard we try to let them go. But what if it's not in letting the thoughts go, rather accepting, loving, and embracing them? I'll start off by admitting, as a society, we seem to be headed in a trajectory that is negative in nature. Some ascribe this negativity to a lack of spirituality, others to the loss of humanistic traditions. So, how do all of these types of beliefs play out in our personal lives? You must be aware of how small occurrences can nudge people in the right direction, or throw them into an abyss that when they gaze into, may reveal to them who they truly are. The question is, what differentiates these outcomes? Convention has it that outcomes are the result of particular stimuli, which are described as good or evil, positive or negative, light or dark. But what if the stimuli had no such property? Some would say that there's always a balance in how the universe works things out. For example, when a tree dies, mushrooms sprout out to help it decompose, releasing nutrients into the soil, thus creating space and food for newer, stronger plants. This is also present in the relationship between predator and prey. Larger animals with the necessary characteristics will consume smaller, more vulnerable prey, usually alleviating the environment of a burden. Is it possible to not tie any overwhelming emotion to these events and accepting them simply as necessary? This is the idea behind Amor Fati and Qadr. Both examine life as a series of preordained events that need not evoke emotion, but instead a call to action, to take steps to tackle the present without concern for the past or the future. In other words, to embrace destiny for what it is. Now take this moment to see your life in picture. You go through many incidences, so numerous that some you won't even be able to recall too long after they occur. But for the common person, for the person who acts mainly on their emotions, those isolated incidences that are long forgotten will more than likely contribute to taking X steps backward and forward to move you closer towards chaos, destruction, and despair. So remember, in the past, you've been apprehensive and fearful from the start and throughout this process. But suddenly you're faced with all these newer, stronger emotions. How? How will you overcome them? What will you rely on? What if you're afflicted with a life-altering event that results in you falling into that abyss? But beforehand, you're calm and you embrace the decree, not thinking ahead to the future or calculating your demise. You embraced every event, you learned from it, and you welcomed it. Could you stand to face this ultimate test? Yes, you can. Through every life-embracing moment, you've reinforced decision-making based on the observable. Until now, you've welcomed life's challenges. This is just another instance, a part of the flow. To some, this may seem easier said than done. How do you truly embrace life and love fate without becoming a sage who's sworn off the world, instead choosing to live like a hermit? Some might say this isn't ideal, or you can't be a contributing member of society, or you'll be an outcast or other. But what if to live a life of true peace, all you had to do is to remain in the present and have faith in the plan? In the end, you'll take on and overcome, or be overtaken. Regardless, is that no matter what, you're unfettered by adversity and will continue striving in the way, either to die without fearing death, or to die or receiving the pleasures of a promised ending. That is why, to embrace change, we must first accept the divine will that has been preordained, that you want nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. This ultimate embrace of reality comes from us remembering that death will always overtake us, and thus we must accept that we cannot escape death, but cannot we escape the dread of it? Must we die trembling and lamenting?